Hi everyone, this is Amsaveni, Assistant Professor in English, Kamadin Arts and Science College, Satyamangalam. In this lecture video, we are going to see about subjective poetry and objective poetry. Before entering into the topic, first we will see about literature. Literature is one of the fine arts like music and painting. It is an expression of life through the medium of language. Literature is composed of books which are of great human interest due to their subject matter and mode of presentation. In literature, the pleasure that forms gives are of great importance. The writer is provoked by the usage of self expression. Literature reflects an interest in the world of reality as well as imagination and our love of form and order. Next, we will see about the elements in literature. We can see four good elements in all good literature. They are the intellectual element, the emotional element, the element of imagination and fancy, the element of composition and style, or the technical element. Next, we will see the literary productions can be classified into five categories. Literature of purely personal experience, literature dealing with the common questions of life, death, destiny, and God, literature dealing with the social world order and its activities, literature dealing with nature and man's relationship with the external world, literature which deals with art themselves. The study of literature begins with the reading of books, which gradually leads to the familiarity with authors. A proper study of literature involves the study of its history, the biography of the author, the ethos of the age and society in which it is produced. Next, we will see the classification of poetry. Poetry can be classified into two divisions based on its subject matter. First one is subjective poetry and second one is objective poetry. Next, we will see poetical types. There are eight poetical types in literature. First one is the lyric, second the ode, third the sonnet, fourth the elegy, fifth the ballad, sixth the satire, seventh the idyll, and the eighth one is epic. First, we will see about lyric. It is the oldest form of poetry. The lyric is more delicious and delighting form of poetry. Its origin is Greek. It is also called as melik. Next one is the ode. The ode is a kind of poem and its origin is Greek. It is a serious and dignified composition. Next one is the sonnet. The word sonnet is derived from the word sonneto, which means a little sound. Next one is the elegy. Elegy is a poem of lamenting or mourning. Next one is the ballad. A ballad is a song which tells the story. Next one is the satire. Satire is a form of writing which blends humor and wit with criticism to mock at the follies, foibles, stupidities of individuals. Next one is the idyll. A short description in verse prose of picturesque scene or incidents, especially in rustic life. Next one is the epic. The epic is a long tale in a poetic form. Next, we will see what is subjective poetry. The poet's own feelings, emotions, attitudes, thoughts, and experience motivate the poet to write a poem. When a poet writes a poem based on the above said causes, the poem is called a subjective poem. Subjective poem is also called personal. Examples for a subjective poetry is Wordsworth Daffodils and Milton's Paradise Lost. Next, we will see objective poetry. Very often, the happenings of external world, the events, the things around the poets, notable deeds of some persons, or of a beautiful scene, can inspire a poet to write a poem. When the poet writes a poem based on the above said causes, the poetry is called objective poetry. It is otherwise called as creative poetry or impersonal poetry. Example for objective poetry is Spenser's Faerie Queene. Next, we will see the earlier origin of objective poetry. Objective poetry is older than subjective. The primitive people among whom it developed, like the uncivilized races in some parts of the world today, were more interested in what they saw and hear than in what they thought. They valued the experience of their eye and ear more than the experience of their mind. By conclude this PPT, though subjective poetry and objective poetry belong to two distant categories, yet it is almost impossible to separate the one from the other. Not all the subjective poetry is purely objective. The most impersonal composition may bear the stamp of its author. That's all. Thank you.